Hey everyone, Eric Watson here, freelance writer, player of games, writer of Forge Recorder of videos, and a tabletop role-playing aficionado. Welcome to the Monday edition of my bi-weekly behind-the-scenes DM-only live stream, Crafting the Deep, in which I build, run, and prepare for our next session of Call from the Deep. If you are playing characters Gottwald, Mock, Salver, or Toro, the stream is not meant for you. It'll be full of spoilers, but for the rest of you, welcome. Sounding a little bit better every day. We stream our sessions, D&D sessions, live on YouTube every Friday. You can join our official Discord server with invite link in the description below. If you'd like to support the channel, please check out patreon.com/Rogue Watson. For our campaign, we use Roll20. For streaming, I use OBS Studio. Happy D&D release week this week, because this is the 16th, and I believe, well, some people probably already have it in their hands right now if you went to a friendly local game store, but I think it comes out mass retail on Tuesday, which is going to be the new player's handbook. So we're all very excited about that, I'm sure, even though we don't have the Dungeon Master's Guide until later, a couple months from now, and then Monster Manual comes later than that. We have no adventure for quite a bit of time, so it's just kind of a, I don't know. It's exciting, but not quite as, I'm almost more excited about new like campaign adventure books than I am with this, but we'll see. We're still right now at Call from the Deep, halfway through our big battle at Driftwood Docks. We could talk about that, although I don't think my plans really have changed much with what happened last time. We didn't quite make it as far as I thought we would, and I'm proud of the players for actually doing some proper, like, reconnaissance and ambush tactics and all that, so which I appreciated, and probably rewarded them a little too well for it, but whatever, we're having fun. And I haven't even unleashed my big stuff yet, which is, their ship is still making it through here, plenty of reinforcements around, and of course the actual Jarl Frostbeard hasn't even started doing his stuff, which is summoning the water elemental and hurling rocks and doing all that good fun stuff. So, and I am perfectly more than willing to destroy their ship. Because, again, they don't know this, but this is as far as their ship needs to make it. They would probably want to hang on to their ship, I would assume, but I have no problem dealing damage to it. And right now, they've taken about 25% of the ship's total damage between the failed skill challenge bits and also, like, taking one nasty ballista bolt from just one of the groupings did, like, 30 damage to their ship or something crazy. So they are in a bit of a pain for that. Oh, you guys don't get the... When is the handbook release in Australia and New Zealand, Demnix? You're a DM at heart. New class options are cool. Yeah, that's true. Like, I know, that's a good point. I would like to play more characters occasionally, but yeah, new class stuff does look cool, and I'm excited to dive into that. But yeah, admittedly, I'm always gonna be more excited about the stuff from the DM side for sure. Guilty as charged. So, if we want to talk about Tentrix's floating layer, which is where we're going to spend the next, not the next session. I'm hoping we can get through Driftwood Docks next session, right? We can do the whole battle, which we should be able to. I don't, we're still in the middle of the fight, and I can see us doing the whole session being a fight and then getting to this area. And then I thought, because this map is from Seafoot Games, the Pirate Floating Fortress. Letting the part, because they seemed kind of bummed about not having much of a point of attack for Driftwood Docks, even though I kind of let them have some wiggle room for that area. I thought it'd be fun to actually maybe treat this particular area as more of a heist scenario, because we've been talking about how much the party enjoys that and how it just works really well. So perhaps once they make it past Driftwood Docks, they'll get a chance to, like, assess this area, at least from a distance, and perhaps do what they just did, which is, if their boat's still alive, I don't know what to call it, but, not destroyed. Excuse me, I had to cough for a second. Then they could take their folding boat or whatever and just, like, try to, I don't know, stealth around and figure out a good, maybe they, obviously can be here at night or something and try to, although that'll have to be prepared for dynamic lighting for that, don't I? If they're here at night. I've been assuming all these things are during the day, so I don't have to worry about dynamic lighting. But this particular map allows them to basically enter this dungeon. It's a floating island fortress, so you can technically, like, enter it from any side. So that already opens up a huge round of possibilities, which is also a bit of a nightmare for the DM because I have to be prepared for them to come at it from any side. I think the way I would describe it is the main entrance, which by the way, I took this map and I flipped it to where the main entrance is at the bottom now because they're going, Driftwood Docks are going south to north. So I figure if you would go to the main entrance of the next dungeon, you would start at the south end, but it's a floating fortress, so it doesn't actually have to adhere to any of that. But it made sense to me. So the main entrance is at the southern end, and they've got mounted ballistas on the very top. I believe the whole thing is 3 stories, by the way, and it is 3 separate maps. So we've got map 1, map 2 here, which I guess has like an inner layer of a rampart thing, yeah, and then it's got the top area here, which actually has the ballistas, and that, which by the way, it uses the oaken bolter from Mordenkainen's, which I'm excited to use, the like construct like ballista. There's some neat, that's not the wrong one. Where's that one? Tentrix floating layer. There's some neat creature ideas here. There's the Myrniloth. There's a Burbalang. I don't know if I'm gonna end up using that one. And there's a couple like named NPCs. I also thought I could use maybe some more named NPCs because a lot of what makes this dungeon challenging is all the pirate lords, but as we all know, I used the pirate lords in other areas and kind of took them out of this area, with the exception of Scummer, who will be fighting alongside Tentrix for sure. So I went through the floating layer and tried to break down like how can I turn this map into the one I'm using basically, because the way the original map is designed, it's got this kind of, I'm not even sure where the player's actually supposed to enter this place, by the way. It doesn't seem like there's a good dock section or something, but there's a hub area in the middle. There's a bunch of like just 4 castles sticking up that are kind of empty, basically. It's kind of shaped like a ship's wheel. And then the other 4 directions that stick out, each one of these is like another pirate lord's quarter. So it's like one of them is the Storm Maidens, and one of them is Desecratus's, and so on. And I believe that's what all 4 of these are. And then the way to progress through the dungeon is to make it down. I believe it's a floating fortress that goes down instead of up. So it must have like an underwater section. Or maybe just, I don't know, it's sealed underwater. I guess it's like the what do they call it? The hold of the ship or something is down there. So they go down the stairs, and that's where you have this confrontation, I think, with T12 maybe. With it, that's actually the initial fight with Tentrix, and then a Colossal Octopus comes out, and there's like another fight with Tentrix after that. So it's a pretty quick dungeon, in other words, although you can definitely rattle like all the different reinforcements, end up just aggroing the whole place, which is pretty easy to do. So I'm kind of philosophically thinking of turning this into like a classic like Ubisoft fortress in one of their open world video games, where you've got it just presents you with like a dangerous location full of bad guys, and then kind of gives the player a bunch of options of how to go about it, like what order to do things and how to take people out, and if you want to go however much you want to do stealthy versus trying to just go loud and do what you can, which I think I'm going to encourage the players to do. I think that would be a lot of fun. I just got to be able to stock this dungeon full of bad guys in the right places and make it so I could encourage them to turn into a heist while still making sure it's a satisfying, cool boss fight at the end, which means I need to figure out where I'm going to put the boss. And then I also need to come up with parameters for, this happens if they're totally unaware. Now, we did talk about if Tentrix is actually completely aware of the players when they arrive, and thus they can kind of turn the tables on the heist. Depending on where the players go and how they approach everything, I think that would be an amazing way to handle it for sure. Is like, oh, you guys thought you were heisting your way through this area. Well, it turns out, I've been following you guys this whole time. Like, and he can do his, reveal and then attack the party with everything he's got. I'm thinking the main boss room, the tricky thing is it's 3 different levels, so I have to kind of stock each of these appropriately and probably split the party at some point. I'm losing my voice now. The upper right one looks kind of like a boss room. And all of these are like ships, right? They're like medium to large to small ships, all kind of stacked on top of each other, lashed against each other, and it looks pretty cool. But this looks like a proper boss room, where it looks like he's actually got a map in front of him and is making like proclamations and I don't know, maybe that's he's making plans and he's got his own. He's on the second floor, I believe, here. I think there's a third floor that actually goes higher, but the second floor even has ballista shooting out to cover the northeast side, which I think I'll probably tell them the main entrances and exits if they're able to go all the way around it. Are the south side and the northeast side. I think the west side is guarded also, and then any of the other areas would the players could like try to sneak in there, but they're on their own to try to figure out like what entrances to take or where even the like doors and things are. But in terms of where like the main like dock areas are, it's probably the south side and the northeast side. And the northeast side would probably be like Tentrix's personal boat area hanging up here, and I'll probably stick him up here. I need to actually, I guess, label these rooms with numbers, so that would probably help me in my notes and try to figure out where everything is. I could also put him here on the second level to the north side. There's also another way in there. But I don't know. This upper right one feels a little more protected and less like the party's going to stumble on the boss room too soon. I guess I could always climb up the side. That could get tricky. So these stairs go down? They must go down at some point. Yeah, because those stairs go up from there. So that's I guess the third level is just like the forecastle. Here, does it still show the ballista on there? Yeah, okay. So that third level is, we almost don't have to use this third level then. Although it does have a top section for these two ships. Shoot. Yeah, it does. Okay. Damn, this is just a giant ass map. A lot of stairs going crazy. I definitely want to do the bar area, which I believe is mentioned. Let's see, which one is that? I think that's supposed to be T11. Yeah, the Jolly Roger. Access bar, half a dozen humanoids, slosh their grog around tin mugs, opposites ragged three-piece band atop a table. Minotaur beating out the staggering rhythm on a battered drum. Slips and split drink and barrels in a seated goblin. Descending the stairs from area T1 or ascending them from area T12 brings the characters to this mezzanine level. I like the idea of just a villainous bar. That sounds great. It's run by an orc veteran, which I love using the orc token, but actually pointing it to the veteran stat block. Veteran is a solid stat block. And keep in mind, we'll probably have to, I would probably want to upscale some of the danger here because the party's higher level than what Call from the Deep even suggests at this point. Lizard folk, orcs, bandits, goblins. I don't think it's worth using bandits and goblins here. Minotaur, and a plump dwarven bard playing an instrument of the bard's Das Lute. That would give the bad guys a lot of spellcasting abilities, I guess, but then it has to go into the hands of the players. Although nobody's a bard, so I guess they can't really use it. That's interesting. A villainous bard character. Have the taunt ability, invisibility, shatter, thunderwave. Okay. Actually, might be worth using a villainous bard. I like the token. The angriest dude playing a flute. Alright, they've sold me on the bard, I guess. Where are you, bard? There's two bards listed here. One from Volos and one from Dragon Heist, it looks like. Probably use the Volos one. It is a little hard to make sense of. I know it's a little. I mean, both maps are hard to make sense of if we're being honest. The original was not very helpful. The way I get it is like this is the base level. Right, this is the ground floor. It's right there on the water. It's a bunch of ships put together, and then the ships are just tall enough to where they cover multiple levels, so stairs go up there. And then also there are ramps that connect areas together, which I guess also gets a little tricky when they go into like second floors and stuff. We may not even use much of the other floors. I don't know. Yeah, this is the bolter. This thing is cool looking. It's like a mechanical construct of a ballista moving around doing its own thing. Oh, it's got a harpoon gun. That's fabulous. Explosive bolt. This is great. Its own little mini boss. Also, there is a gnome gunslinger called Powder, a pirate. So perhaps they built the Clockwork Oaken Bolter. So I'm liking that idea. Unfortunately, they don't have a token, so I'll have to get a token for them, but it's definitely a good stat block to use. Just got a straight up gun. Although Mac will probably want to get his hands on said gun. But is a musket a martial weapon, or is it like a special exotic thing? I know like 3E had like exotic weaponry specifically as its own like feat you had to take. Suave defense. AC includes charisma modifier. Is this like a swashbuckler stat block? That is, yeah. Swashbuckler makes 3 attacks. Okay. Or 2 musket attacks. Nice. Alright, so I'm definitely keeping that stat block. I just gotta figure out where everybody goes. So this is like the bar area, which oddly does not look much like a bar. It looks like a, I don't know, like a fucking library or something. So I might need to make it more bar-like. With some assets, create like a kitchen and everything going on here, but I think that's supposed to be what's sort of going on here is this whole bar area, which looks fabulous, has entrances in multiple areas. The party can definitely do there, and that'll be a major area where, you know, hopefully we can tussle with some bad guys. Definitely aggro and some problems. The left ship here seems to be mainly like a barracks. For like, you know, just normal NPCs, not necessarily all the special ones. So that's fine. Probably maybe find some locked doors and treasures and things, some supplies. And I believe that continues up to the next floor. Yeah, it's just kind of, for some reason, bigger hallways and stuff. And actually kind of like a mess hall over here in the southern area. So most of that left ship is going to be, I don't know, pretty boring, I guess. Not much going on there. Move the bard. So the bar is going to be on this floor. So that'll be you, and then some lizard folk. What was in there? The veteran, orc veteran was the bartender. I think there was a minotaur in there, which I don't know why this guy isn't big. Should be large. In fact, the whole token didn't drag over correctly. What else can we use as... I guess we could use thugs instead of bandits. Bard, lizard folk, orcs. I kind of like just keeping the one orc veteran, though. Yeah, I might just do thugs instead of bandits. I like the idea of the bard a lot, though. That actually is going to add some spell casting. And everybody, the interesting thing is, I don't know how loyal I want all these guys to be. So there may be an opportunity for the players to actually do some social maneuvering. In fact, I think it says early on that these guys, like, are not super loyal. Yeah, like most pirates, the crew of Tentrix's lair are not particularly loyal. If outmatched, they flee. I don't know where they're going to flee to, because this is the villain's lair. That makes things tricky from a balance perspective. It's like the enemy is not really in it too much, and maybe the party can take advantage of that. Some should be definitely very loyal to Tentrix, but others could just be like, whoa, 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 we're not here to get, like, slaughtered. I did drown Wolfgar here. This is a guy. Sorry, this is one of the pirate guys who attacks a different city during chapter 2 when I used the Bartholomew Black Dagger, the ghostly undead pirate guy, which the party then tracked all the way to that sky hold. This was one of the other pirate guys, basically the Kraken Priest guy, which I think Sea King Tentrix is already a Kraken Priest. He's like a high level Kraken Priest. So I don't. I was just thinking I need to replace like all those missing pirate lords with other like cool, powerful people. So maybe I could use this guy as one of them. Tentrix is already going to have Scummer as well. And I briefly thought maybe I want to use one of the other Mind Flayer generals, because that would make sense, that, or maybe make sense to be here, but it'd be a fun way to, again, put those Mind Flayers out to, you know, separate them out from the main final area, because the party did take one out back at the Styes. But I also don't want to take away from Tentrix being, you know, the boss here, so I think I talked myself out of it. Second level, we're gonna put Tentrix up there. Where's Scummer? Is it Captain Scummer? It is Captain Scummer. He's the only one that's actually Captain Scummer. Probably stay with Scummer will stay with Tentrix pretty much the whole time. I think that would be well. Also, I'm gonna have to like double Tentrix's hit points. He's got 90 right now. He needs to have boss level hit points. Damn it. Maybe I'll put Powder in the Oaken Bolter out. Maybe I'll just like try to set up this area just in case is like the final boss area. And then if the party ends up fighting somewhere else, then we can have these guys like magically appear to like, you know, on the balcony or something. Be like, oh, we were aware of you the whole time. But make sure the boss has some things about him. So that'll be these two guys. Or we put them at the south end, I guess. And frankly, a lot of these guys may move around depending on where the party ends up going first. Is medium or it is medium? Okay. It's not as big as these listed on the thing I just noticed. Geez. They're huge. Looks like the second floor of the bar is just more like sleeping quarters. I don't know what these things are supposed to be. Are these like hammocks, I guess? I guess that kind of makes sense. And you can see where now the walkway is here on the higher floor. The only thing that's going to be really tricky for me to do is depict if the characters are fighting on this lower level and then depict enemies on the higher two levels of the ramparts and the walls firing down at the party. Because I can't really put them on this map without it being super fucking confusing. I do like the idea of the entire floating fortress being the lair of a Morenaloth. Very much looks like Karen. It does say he has access to his lair actions and regional effects, but a lot of them aren't really useful in combat. I mean, you can repair the ship, you can move the ship being this entire fortress. Doesn't sink even if its hull is breached. All those things, I guess, means it's magically protected by this one character. So if the party tries to do something where they just try to sabotage the entire ship, then they realize that something magical is keeping this ship up. And until they destroy this Morenaloth, who I guess made some kind of pact with Tentrix, then they can't do anything to the ship. The one lair action that seems maybe interesting is you can start up a gust of wind thing. I forget what that spell is called. It puts powerful wind like around you. Looks like it grounds flying creatures and just makes everything difficult terrain for a single round. So not terribly exciting. The Morenaloth himself can cast Dispel Magic, though, which is very useful. It's actually very useful at will Dispel Magic. I'm thinking about putting that guy on the top of this middle ship, which puts him exactly in the middle of the entire fucking area. Because that's where a ship's wheel actually is. So I thought, oh, maybe that's how the ship is actually piloted. Wind wall. Thank you. I think that's what I was thinking of. Yeah, so I can put him right here, and then he can just be dispelling magic. That's basically his whole job. Where there's wherever there's spells, anywhere that shouldn't be on this ship, this dude can lean over the side and just point his finger and dispel it like a bastard. It is going to be a little hard for the players to just navigate around, especially if they're on the bottom layer trying to describe all this and trying to see if they, you know, who they can target and who they can't because of the verticality. But it'll be tricky, but hopefully it'll be worth it because I do think it's a really neat looking map. It's just got to be stocked. There's not much in the way of traps. It's pretty much just enemies, I believe. There's like maybe some trapped treasure chests. Yeah, and this actually has a breakdown of like everything in the different areas. It's a rug of smothering guarding one of the areas somewhere. I mean, I could maybe put that in some room randomly. Just to, I don't know if it's much of a single rug isn't going to do much to the party. You pretty much get that single like advantage attack off, and if you don't hit with it, the rug is donezo. Powder and 2 bandit. Yeah, so Stormbane's not there. Dirge is not there. And Socrates is actually with Tentrix. He also has apparently 4 bandits. A zombie ogre. The zombie ogre is like in its own tank because there's like some kind of puzzle system involved there. And he does summon a colossal octopus, which I probably will keep that. I think the colossal octopus is just a good mid-tier strength that feels appropriate for the boss to summon without like taking over as the big boss fight. I don't know if this is an official stat block or not. Colossal. Oh, yeah. It says it's from Call from the Deep. So perhaps might be an original stat block, a huge octopus. I like it. It's just scaled up like crazy. 4 tentacle attacks, tentacle slam. I might need to include that as a bonus action or something. Because right now it can't. It can either make 4 tentacle attacks or it's slam. Oh, it can slam each creature grappled by it into each other. Okay, that's cool. Does damage and stuns them. Damn. Okay. That's actually probably pretty cool. So if they're still tentacled, then it can slam around. That's nifty. So he's got to summon that during the boss fight, but that thing's got to come out of the water. Yeah, it looks cool. I guess I could have like the tentacles like reaching up over the, if they fight him on the second, or yeah, it'd be the second layer, second floor, and that could like reach up there. Like that one. I guess I could just put random dudes like patrolling different areas. Goblins, orcs, bandits, lizard folk, occasional minotaur. It's interesting they use goblins and bandits when Driftwood Docks uses thugs mostly. It's almost like going back. But I guess because of the sheer numbers of dudes, maybe they felt like we couldn't do too powerful of guys here. Filch. He's got like a homunculus instead of a parrot. There's one NPC that the players can save. It's very near. Let's see, T18. Yeah, it's very near the end. But it's just some random lady, or not random. She's like a pirate, I guess. Powerful pirate lady. But it might be an opportunity to put somebody who's been captured. Yeah, put them at. Unfortunately, it's not an obvious prison area here. So maybe I can manufacture one and that person will be captured. And maybe that's the one that's like spilled the beans on the party and told him everything. I'm thinking Sanbalay might be the most fun person that got captured. Maybe. Unless you all have a different idea of somebody. I'm thinking I'll be remiss if I didn't use a character that was in this campaign previously that would know the party as somebody who needs rescuing. Or could use rescuing. There's a bunch of people in prison that the party can save. Don't know where to put prisoners, though. Maybe I can convert this one ship here. That's on the north side, because that was not really used for anything. Oh, this could be a little prison. Actually, that looks like a prison right there. The second floor on the other side of the boss's room. These are the ships like jammed together. That right there could be a prison. And then this is like the guard. That could work. Do we like Sanbalay or do we think somebody else? Who else would be captured? Who have they met so far? I feel like everybody they've met has like joined their crew or died, or is Sanbalay. I guess the one like nice guy from the Styes would be the other one. Or Callus. Callus would be another choice, but again, they have such a weird relationship with Callus. I'm not sure. And Callus has the ability to like teleport, also, so you need to be somebody more mundane. It is ship shape. I like it. I have to go back and find Sanbalay's token. Trapped chamber. Oh, there is a door area. Is this the treasure? Oh my gosh, this is complicated. Setting the stairs from area T1 raising cars to the open air upper level. The crow's nest T20. What is that one? Okay, so you can go down the stairs. I guess to T11 or upstairs to T20. Oh yeah, and that's where Charon is. Okay. For orcs, man, the Scorpios. So I could have orcs at the ballistas. Orcs are weaker than thugs, though, aren't they? Yeah, they're a lot weaker. Interesting. Poor orc. Standard orc seems so weak. Karen can be bribed to disclose information about the layout of the lair and its inhabitants for 1,000 gold. For 10 gold a day, Karen can captain the character ship. Okay. He says, lair actions, regional effects, and the lair's defense, but does not fight, and teleports away if threatened. That's why I would only let him probably use Dispel Magic. Karen's shoulder is Tentrix's homunculus filled. She telepathically communicates the location of the characters to Tentrix and follows them through the lair if it can. Huh. Interesting. So it's kind of nerfed. There's Scorpios and not ballistas. +5 to hit. Range slightly shorter and only 2d10 instead of 3d10 damage. But they only need 2 actions to work. 1 action load a Scorpio, 1 action to fire it. But these look like monster ballistas. So I don't know if I want to change that up. But it does make sense that you would need more dudes manning ballistas if they're ballistas. And the lookout is Blug, a goblin with eyes of the eagle. Blug would rather become the slave of the characters than die and begs for mercy if threatened. Yay, goblins. Eyes of the eagle is cool, but nobody's going to give up a attunement slot. Let's get advantage on perception checks. Not at this level. Also, I don't have a good crow's nest area here, I don't think. But again, it's 3 stories tall, so like anybody on the highest end would have a pretty good view of things. This is going to be a real tricky area for the DM standpoint. Let's see. Berserker. You could have Drowned Wolfgar maybe guarding the prisoners. So he could be on this level. Kind of right there. And you could put the Sambalay and maybe some other random people in this prison area here. This bar area is going to have most of the people in it. Regular orcs, or regular thugs, or regular goblins. These goblins are terrible. They're gonna die instantly to whatever AoE. It's a pretty good bar area right there. Oh yeah, what was the trap? Where's T19? It's its own little room, okay. Pressure plates. Cursed gold. Enormous pile of gold coins fills the chamber. You know, every D&D player knows if you see a pile of gold coins out in the open, it's a fucking trap, man. The room contains a pile of 180,000 gold pieces. Good lord. Gold coins are cursed. Oh, it's literally Pirates of the Caribbean. When cursed, the creature's type becomes undead. It's detect magic, reveals an aura of necromancy. A creature that carries the gold for an hour or more is cursed. Only be removed by remove curse. 1d4 days, creature loses all appetite for food and drink, no longer needs them to survive. Loses need for air or sleep. Creature's flesh begins to slough off its bones, leaving it a bare skeleton. Process takes 1d10 days, while mildly painful and grotesque has no effect on the creature's hit points. Creature gains the following changes: dexterity score increased by 2, strength decreased by 2, charisma decreased by 4, vulnerability to bludgeoning damage, and immunity to poison damage. Can't be poisoned or gain level exhaustion. Gain dark vision out to range of 60 feet, and they are undead. Alright, you just straight up did Pirates of the Caribbean. Barred by a mechanism connected to a pressure plate. Area T12. Or a successful strength check. So the pirates have it locked and written in some kind of cipher. Gold and cursed. Oh, that's interesting. I don't know if I want to mess around with that or not. Cursed gold that turns you into undead. It feels kind of out of left field because in Pirates of the Caribbean it's a huge plot point, right? That's like they're all the bad guys are undead because they've got that curse. Here it's just like, oh yeah, we keep this. This is like the forbidden donut from Simpsons. Keep that shit locked away, so nobody touches it. Nobody becomes undead. It seems a little too. I mean, I appreciate the reference, but I think it's a little out of nowhere for this campaign. That's what Sabra wants. Kinda. Just to become undead. It's almost all positive. Not almost all positive. I mean, it's... Becoming undead would have some interesting ramifications. Dark vision is hugely useful. Immunity to poison. Immunity to exhaustion is hugely useful. Dex increased by 2 is hugely useful. Strength 4 decreased by 2. Wizard don't care. Charisma score decreased by 4. Wizard don't care. Vulnerability to bludgeoning damage. That's painful. But yeah, otherwise it's fantastic. You could make the crew secretly undead. Add a whole other layer to this thing. The bigger question is, where would I put this dangerous trap chamber? Probably at this bottom level to the north. If I were to do such a thing. Still not sure. I do want to do the prison. We'll do that one. Goblins, orcs, and bandits sleeping in the room. One of the goblins has smuggled a pet monkey who wears a small tricorn hat. Fantastic. Smoke powder. It's an actual item. Set on fire, dropped or otherwise handled roughly, explodes and deals fire damage to each creature object within 20 feet. 1d6 for a packet, 9d6 for a keg. The DC 12 deck save. And there's a room that contains 5 kegs. That could be fun. Definitely have that somewhere. What if they stumble on the smoke powder? The classic, like, red barrel in a video game. Gotta use the red barrels. Also connected to a pressure plate area T12. Is T12 where the ogre is? Is that how it works? So some kind of weird, like, there's like a tank where a zombie ogre is being kept, and he's got the pressure plates in his tank. So you have to get him to, like, step on the things to open up the different doors. So that's the one part I'm kind of missing from here because I'm not using that setup. Yeah, it's the hold. Enormous water-filled tank. Staying around the hold of several individuals. Let's talk about the tank. In the room contains an ogre zombie. 25-foot drop. 12-foot tank set 5 feet lower than the floor level in the center of the hold. Whose eye has been plucked from its skull and his body infested with multiple wounds. Should be used the zombie as waste disposal, but also as part of a locking mechanism. Why? That seems very complex and needlessly complex. To get him to, like, open and close doors, you have to entice this blind zombie into certain spaces. Obviously, I don't think we're going to be using that. It's a neat idea. It's very crazy, but I don't have a good map set up for a giant tank filled with an ogre zombie. That's just used for, like, puzzling purposes. Weird. Tentrix's quarters is where they need to. So they're gonna have to find and obviously destroy him, and then that's where they're gonna learn about the location of the Elder Brain and Slarkerthel and all that. Actually, does not have that much treasure. Wait, the chest is worth more than the chest treasure inside? The gold-plated chest is 2,500 gold pieces. Inside is 800 gold, 2 emeralds, and a whalebone idol of Slarkerthel. Does Tentrix not have any magic items on him? Seems kind of lame. They must have their own treasure chamber somewhere. I guess he could have... oh, you know, he's going to have the Merid Conch. That's right. I did keep teasing to the party that they were successfully stole the Merid Conch, which is basically a genie's lamp holding a Merid instead of a genie. So he could have the fucking genie. And the party could even do something cool. If they're really stealthy and heisty, they could try to steal the Merid Conch out from under Tentrix. That would be very difficult to do. Instead, they're probably going to have to fight the damn Merid. Which is a CR11. Damn. That's pretty powerful. Oof. I don't know if I can have him summon a Class Octopus and a Merid. That gets crazy. Yeah, Merid is a genie. I mean, there's like the genies are all elementals, right? The Jin, or sorry, is it Ifrit? Is the fire one? The genie, I think, is the air one. Merid is water, and then the Tao is earth, I think. So just elemental genies, yeah. I got a genie for every element. There's that Merid conch. Literally, I think works like a genie lamp. Yep, use an action to rub the conch. Cloud of mist comes out, and in return, the Merid appears that flash from his lightning. 30 feet of you. The first time the DM rolls, what happens? 1 to 10, the Merid attacks you for 5 rounds, and the conch loses its magic. So there's a 10% chance the Merid just fights you for 5 rounds, an 80% chance the Merid serves you for an hour doing as you command, which can be used 3 times. And then the 4th time is a 10% chance that it can cast the wish spell for you 3 times. Which is bullshit of the highest order, of course. That would just break every campaign. So instead, I would probably use it as a just summons a Merid that can help fight for you, I guess, and do things that it's capable of doing. But I want to have the Merid be able to introduce the quest line that it's got for the party, which gives them a superpowered ship. So that'll be an important one to get. Now, I think, only the traditional genie would have the Robin Williams voice. The Merid looks like he sounds like the guy from the first Star Wars movie. What were the fish dudes called? I haven't seen that one in forever. The actual like Phantom Menace, episode 1. A giant Borges. There's gonna be a lot of creatures in here. Akbar. No, not Akbar. That's a trap. I'm talking about the. Weren't there fish guys that didn't they go under? There's a funny scene where Qui-Gon and them are taking like a submarine down there to visit him, and they say that awesome quote where like there's always a bigger fish, which is fucking true of everything. I don't remember what those guys were called. What the hell are these different orc things? Gungans. Fuck. Thank you, Jason. Is that right? Sounds right. I think that's right. Grab the regular orc out of here. races. I was gonna appear as that guy. Well, I could use the same token, that's fine. Have these guys manning the ballistas. I mean, really just put a bunch of random, I don't know, bandits, thugs around the area, I guess. Stocking 3 levels worth of dungeons is a lot. Something like that. I mean, most people should be in the bar. Even if it's the middle of the day when they come in there, it's gonna be everybody at the bar. That's what I want to try to funnel the players towards, however well I can. The main entrance is at the north side of the lower level. I guess you can get there from the top as well. This doesn't even connect to that either. Damn. So yeah, a lot of the challenge here is the fact that it's a floating fortress the party can get to from any side and any angle. It makes sense that it would be a hostile fortress to them right off the bat, so it would encourage them to use heist as much as possible. Slipping in, try to figure out where Tentrix is. And also that it even says they should be able to disguise. Due to the constant changeover, it is easy for characters to blend in, provided characters wear suitable attire, they can infiltrate the ship. Now, it'd have to be pretty damn impressive because I've already mentioned the fact that they're notorious, right? Like, Tentrix has already been hunting them down and recognizes them, and many of the villains would recognize them and so on. So they'd have to have some kind of clever way of going about this. So unfortunately, I can prepare all these different stations and things, but as soon as the party does something crazy, then we're going to have to respond to that. We will do our best. Even though it's a big area, we may only be here for like 2 or 3 sessions. If I can distill it just to, you know, individual big fight scenes, like the bar area's got to be one, Tentrix's lair is another. The rest will be pretty like you can kind of sneak your way and stealth and maybe quietly kill people as best you can until you can't. Have good heist music. I should come up with some. I don't know, what is good heist music? It's like something like tense, but like something with building tension. Party something crazy. Nah. Yeah, I mean, first we got to get through the Driftwood Docks fight, right? That'll be a big battle. And then we've got this whole area to deal with. And I would probably, depending on how things happened at Driftwood Docks, probably let the party short rest. I would encourage it. And, you know, we've got our 5-minute short rests before the party make it to this section. Because once they enter here, there's no going back. Benny Hill. All right, folks, my voice is about to give out. Unfortunately, it's still killing me in the evenings, which is a big bummer, but I'm still excited about what we got for D&D coming up for the next couple of weeks. I think we've spent a long time talking about this floating layer area. I haven't even done dynamic lighting on it, which I will be doing that at some point for sure. So thank you for tuning in. God's really losing it. Excuse me, sorry. If you enjoyed the content, please check out patreon.com/Rogue Watson. Shout out to Planet Patrons: Joe, Will, Thomas, Stan, Brennan, Sendersider, Eclectic Role Player, Christopher, Corey, Big Nut, John F, John L, Tyler, Nathan, Kip, Kristen, Counselor, Andrew, the Eldrin, Stephanie, Patrick, Jason, Ismail, Amit, Libby's Bud, Sharni, Warden, Harold, Eudaimonia, LLC, Jamie, Reese, Tom, AJ, and Gold Patrons: RPG, Papercraft, Pretty Boy, and Yuma, Douglas, Lounge, Jerome, Nathan, Fast Like a Tortoise, Scott, Ruffles, Carolyn, Jerry, Glenn, Marcus, and Mark. Thank you all very much for your support. I'll see you all for some more crafting on Thursday.